Hi friends, welcome back to the channel, Relocate with Kaia. I am Kaia and I provide online support for families, individuals, and employees looking to move abroad. I provide them with relocation, country-specific resources, and on our channel, Rich and I discuss our own personal journey of moving from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to beautiful Johannesburg, South Africa with our lovely daughter, Nina. And today we are just going to be discussing our first trip back to Philly since our move. So Rich is going to take it from here.
So we had initially planned to go back for a visit in August. It lined up with breaks for Nina's school, and it also was exactly a year since we had been here. So that was kind of like always okay, we'll go back in a year for a visit. Some things needed to be taken care of back in the States. Driver's license, full disclosure, I had to renew mine. So thankfully the timing lined up with Nina's first break in April. So we were able to plan the trip and not have to take her out of school or juggle any of that. Unfortunately for us, this was sort of quasi last minute decision. So we checked pricing for both. Initially I was just going to run back and get this done and come back, and then the family trip would have still been in August.
Right.
But the prices weren't really that different, so we just decided, hey, gonna make the full family trip in April instead of August. Unfortunately for us, like I said, it was sort of last minute. We were juggling around trying to find the best combination of flying time, short layovers, and just total travel time. We were sort of limited in that. So our journey from Johannesburg to Philadelphia took about 27 hours traveling. That doesn't count driving in the airport or driving away from the airport. That's just, your pleasure of, time with the airlines. And we had, two layovers. Yeah, so we had to go from here to Amsterdam to Atlanta, which is a pretty long flight also, and then up to Philly. So it felt to me like it took us days to get there. We left late at night on one night, traveled the entirety of the next day. And because of the time change, we didn't get there until late in the evening.
Late.
It was 11 p.m. or so by the time we got to my parents' house where we were staying. And we were just sort of out of whack for a day or so just because of the time change. It's only 6 hours, but it was really
that's a huge time change.
Yeah, it was taking a toll on us. So
but we still got up that very next day. And took care of what we needed to take care of, and and that kind of once we got that resolved, we kind of, just figured, so the next thing was just hooking up and meeting with friends, which unfortunately I know we didn't post a whole lot of video, but 99.9% of our time was spending time with friends and family. And we didn't think they necessarily wanted to be on camera. So, so that's why we didn't really post anything, because it literally was spent hanging out with friends, which was so nice. That was so nice. So Rich, what would you say was the highlight of the trip for you?
Well, the highlight of the trip was obviously seeing family, seeing my parents and having Nina be able to spend time with them again. Just seeing their interactions and, just them together was the highlight. Also some of the food. So I had been craving cheesesteaks. So honestly, the family was the thing, but there was some food. I was hankering for some good food. Or different food. Cheesesteaks and stuff, which I ate a lot of. There. So, that was the best part. But, seeing family and friends. What about you? What would you say was the highlight?
Well, Rich took my answer.
She wasn't going to say cheesesteaks.
I definitely was not. The highlight was, seeing Nina spend time with Rich's parents, or just the grandparents. It was so nice to see, because there has been a decent amount of time that had gone by since she had seen them. And the way that she just instantly reconnected with them was just so warm. It was just really, really nice to see. And I think for people that are thinking about doing this move, I think for the first time I realized that, like she is missing out on this particular relationship and bond. And it made me a little sad. It's like it made me wish that his parents were closer. And I'm talking about Rich's parents specifically because that's where we stayed at during the time. So she got to spend the most time with them. But yeah, like it really made me, what I realized is how much of a connection Nina had with her grandparents. And I don't think I knew that prior to us moving. So for the first time, I think I realized that, that Nina had a bigger bond with them, and it would be nicer if they were closer. So I think that was as beautiful as it was to see. It definitely made me a little sad because, we're so far away and she's not, they're not as accessible to her. So I think that was definitely a big lesson, and also a reality that it's not that I didn't consider, I just didn't think that, I didn't think that would be a huge issue, and it wasn't an issue, but it was just something that I don't think I appreciated until going back and just seeing how much she bonded and connected with them, and just being a little sad that we are that far away. And not that I think it'll have an impact, I know it won't have an impact on the relationship, but it definitely made me think that it would be nice if they were closer, or if they would come here to visit us. I think it would be also very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting you said like one of the lessons. And so the thing that I was thinking of, and it really didn't impact me until we were there and kind of came back, it's, folks that have been talking to us about your experience being abroad, you have the image and the feeling of what you left. And you have all these new experiences living somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But stuff still moves back where you were. So you're going to really do yourself a disservice, or set yourself up for maybe being upset or disappointed if you expect to go back to the exact same place that you left.
Yeah.
And that could be with physical things like, oh, they built this here, Nina's old school is gone.
Yeah.
Like that shut. We didn't know it shut down. That's gone. We were going to try to connect with folks from there, but that was disappointing. That's not even there anymore.
Right.
And, some people are doing a little bit different things. Other people, it's like we never left. It's like you're doing the same thing. So it's a weird experience. Not really an out of body experience, but like to get plopped back into a place that you thought hadn't changed, but it did change, and it takes being away in perspective to kind of like see that.
I don't know if I felt that. Like I felt like no time had changed for me. Like I just felt like the people that we hung out with, family and friends, like I felt like we were just plopped right back into their lives. So it didn't appear that a whole lot had changed. I think what I realized after, because we have this wonderful person that Rich and I talked to, and she's kind of like, she's like our relocation coach, and she's also a therapist, so we kind of get a 2-for-1, which is amazing. But I was telling her I couldn't articulate, because people would say, how did it feel to be back? And I don't know how, I really wasn't sure how to answer it. I just felt that the energy is so different being back in the States than it is being here in South Africa. And I personally think, not to get political, but, there's a lot going on in America. And what I notice is that people, they're not talking about, at least our friends or the circles that we move in, like nobody really is talking about what's happening. So you feel like you're crazy because you're like, it's a lot going on here and nobody talking about it. Nobody's gonna, it's not even a topic of conversation. So what our relocation coach said, because she also is from the States and she lives abroad, she was saying that what she thinks is happening in America is that people are aware of what's going on, but they're not, they're just not talking about it. Like they're just very, they're kind of suppressing it or not discussing it. And that probably has an impact on how people are reacting and what their energy is like. And I said, that's actually a really good, I think that is what could be what I was feeling, because like I said, it just felt so heavy. And it just, I don't know, like it just felt a combination of it being Philly, which is a very, it's a little tough city, but it just felt, extra heavy. And I just noticed that, like, the energy was just different. And I've definitely been spoiled over the last 8 months of the kindness of South Africans, just with the smallest thing of saying hello, or just a smile and acknowledging your presence, and great service when you go out.
Are you going to share when you realized you weren't in South Africa anymore?
Yes. Yes. So, so Rich and I were going out somewhere, and there was like a guy walking down the street, and I just smiled at him. And the way he looked at me, you would have thought I said, you would have thought I cursed at him. His reaction was so just, and then that was definitely a reality check that I am not back in South Africa. And I remember when we used to live in California, and we would come back to the East Coast to visit, and just being shocked by how different, people are on the East Coast and the West Coast. But if I could be honest, that it's different, because the West Coast, they're just kind of like, they have a reputation of being just very chilled and laid back. And I don't believe that that's genuinely who they are. I just think that's just a perception. Whereas though I feel like here, like, people are legitimately, they just move at a different pace, and they're genuinely friendly and kind. So, so just, I missed that so much. Just the kindness of people is what I missed.
I'm agreeing with that, because like there can be, like, once you know people and make connections, there is, people do care about you, and there is a warmth. But to just go out on a daily basis, there's this, your face, an armor or like an exterior you have to carry, to interact with other people. And usually there's not a lot of pleasantries exchanged.
Oh, there's no pleasantries.
You don't look, stare, like none of that.
No.
Like, you're almost ready for something to happen all the time, or, it's a very rough and gruff exterior. Yeah. Like, until you get to know people, and then they're like, oh,
exactly. What I find myself doing is just killing people with kindness. Like, it's like, you're gonna not be.
But then they think you're crazy. Like,
right. Then they think you're crazy. Exactly. But I don't care. That didn't stop me. I still said hello, and I greeted people with a smile. So that. So the energy was very different. Mm-hmm. What else? Honestly, you guys, like, after being there a week, I could, like, after we saw pretty much all the people that we were able to see, I was like, oh, I can go back now. And, like, it was definitely, I knew that the only thing I would miss about being in America was my family and friends. And honestly, like, once I saw everyone that I wanted to see, I could have left. And that honestly is the truth of it. For me, when we were talking to our relocation coach, she wanted to know if, how did we feel post the trip? Mm-hmm. And was it like reaffirming, our decision to move here? And I would say 1,000,000%. However, I never questioned, us moving here outside of the, just being away from the grandparents, Nina being away from her grandparents. I am 10 toes firmly planted in the ground that this was the right decision. And I think when we got back, it officially felt like home. Like, like when we got back, like, it took a couple of days to kind of get acclimated, but it's like, no, this is our home now. And it just felt so good to be back. Yeah. Yeah.
It definitely took a couple days to kind of get reoriented to just the time and everything. So it was a big trip back. Like, and I do think coming here, living here, having Nina have the opportunity to expand her worldview, become a citizen of the globe, mm-hmm. is the right decision. Like, just having had the perspective of being somewhere else, I do think that is the best decision.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are leaving some relationships with distance between them, which really sucks.
Yes, that part.
But yeah, no, overall, like I think this is a great decision. The exposure and everything.
Yeah,
and she's getting here.
Oh, 100%. And I think, and I also think, like before we left, you guys, we had a barbecue, and that was a really, really nice send off. Like we had an opportunity to get to know, some of Nina's friends' parents, and we just had such a wonderful evening. And I think that also kind of laid the foundation for us. Whereas though, once, you get to know, like, I feel like that was the last piece of us, finally officially being settled, is making friends and connections with actual South Africans. So I think that also, like, once we did that, right before we left, it was kind of like, that's what we needed. That was the last piece. So it definitely, I think, made our experience of going back enjoyable because, like I said prior to going, we know what we're coming back to, and it definitely made it was just affirming that we definitely made the right decisions, even though we really missed our friends and family. It definitely felt good to come back, to be back in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware of that not being here though, like more so than I might have been for a while, like not having the established friend networks.
Yes.
And even more so we're just out of the store, here's somebody I know, or just like bumping into.
Didn't you say it felt small though?
Philly's always felt small. It's a big, small city. Like there's a lot of people that live there, but there's a lot of people that know each other. Somebody went to high school with somebody. Like there's what was it, the 6 degrees of separate? Like Philly's like a 3 degrees of separation with most people.
Yes.
Like the longer you live there, there's going to be connections with a lot of people.
Yeah, no, that was nice. Like, cause we like to go out, and it's a couple things. There aren't as many choices for restaurants and things like that as there are here. But the restaurants and stuff that we would often go to, it was nice just to go in there and see people that we knew. Like that sort of familiarity was really, really nice. Even though I think we're slowly creating that in this neighborhood because we go out to 4th Street very often. But I think I definitely think that so that part was nice. And you took Nina to so that's I'm sorry, I couldn't think of where I was going with that. What I also realized is that there aren't a ton of kid-friendly things to do. So if we didn't have like a play date set up with Nina, our options pretty much were a playground or
playgrounds, or they do have like the trampoline park, like you go out to one of those places.
Right. Yes.
But like the weather was bad for like the first week. It was raining.
Terrible.
I'm gonna give you the Fahrenheit here. It was like 60 degrees, 50 to 60 during the day, but it was getting down to like the 30s at night. It was like cold, rainy. Just like being outside, it just wasn't really much of an option.
Exactly.
For about the first week or so.
Yeah, first week was a bust. Because the weather was so terrible, and I did not pack accordingly. Like I wore jackets for Nina.
Got acclimated to South Africa.
I did. I'm like, it's just gonna be like this. So I just wear sweaters. Completely missed the mark. Didn't bring any long sleeve shirts. Like I had to buy a jacket when we were back there, and I think I got you. Did I get you? No, I couldn't even find a jacket. Yeah,
I brought a jacket with me.
Yeah. So the first week we couldn't be outside. So that also was just like, oh God, you have to be kidding. And I think being in sunny South Africa and then being back on the East Coast, or Philly in particular, like the weather has an effect, or at least for me, it has an effect on my mood. So if it's rainy and you're indoors, it's kind of just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So that was, the weather wasn't great.
No, I noticed that when it finally did get a couple nice days, everyone's like, it's so nice out here.
Oh my God.
Because you're literally stuck in the house all winter.
Yes.
And then even when we were there, like mid to late April, it should be warm by then. Like it should be, but it really wasn't.
In May,
felt more
it should
like
be
March
warm.
than April. But
yes. So missed the mark on that. We lost the whole week.
Just the joy, yeah.
Yes.
And part of, so I was thinking about, like, I mentioned before, like I wanted to be open to exploring and interested in doing all that stuff here. There, I felt like we sort of fell back into the same routine
100%.
for a couple of reasons. One, the weather. Mm-hmm. Two, we're hanging out with family during the day.
Yeah.
Trying to hang out with friends at night.
Yes.
Nina got right on the, hey, I'm up at 6 a.m.
Yep.
Like, so we were just very
tired. We
were
running, you guys, from day to night because we wanted to see everybody. So it was kind of like we could hang out with our friends with the kids during the day and our friends without kids at night. So we literally, it was exhausting.
And so we didn't get to go explore any part of the city or rediscover stuff that we hadn't been to in a while.
Right, but I think the weather
the game
definitely
was the only thing that I did outside of the norm.
Right,
with Nina and another friend and their
kids.
So.
Yeah, no, the baseball game. Because we did kind of want to do touristy stuff just to show you guys. But, the weather was terrible. Yeah. So we just, hunkered down and just hung out with friends at their houses and had dinner, which was fantastic. And, of course, they want to... I found that... And I don't know if it's because, our friends watch anything that we post on YouTube. Because prior to that, we definitely were not social media people. So we never shared anything. But I felt like all of a sudden our friends, I feel like it's a real possibility they'll come visit based off of some of the stuff that we shared online. So that to me was very encouraging. And I think that, people were actually discussing plane tickets. So hopefully we'll actually have people come visit us. So I think that, what we do share has had an impact on them and kind of what their perception of South Africa is, which was always the point of doing this channel, was to share our experience. And to let people know they could do it. It doesn't have to be South Africa, but y'all could, get out of America if you want to.
Yeah, like a challenge that some of them, explicitly or just sort of implicitly shared was around work. And I think we shared before, like the expectation of the U.S. and corporate, quote unquote, corporate America is like, hey, we'll give you these days off.
Yeah.
If you're taking more than a week consecutively, you better be on a honeymoon or having surgery or someone's getting married, or there needs to be an event for you to take 2 weeks in a row and not get looked at sideways. And it takes some intestinal fortitude.
Yes.
Like, I'm just doing this.
That's right. That's
I'll
right.
be back on whatever date.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's that mindset of trying to find somewhere to go, like the time and to go there that long.
Right, to check it out. It's, if you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out. But no, so I think that, people definitely, our friends and stuff definitely seem more interested in coming to see us, and it feels like it's a real possibility. For them to do it. So that was, they were. No, I definitely, literally, people are looking at tickets. So
they'll all probably come at once.
I know, with our luck, exactly. I was like, we all got the tickets because they were all on sale at this time. So that was really nice. So I think that overall, it feels so good to be back. No regrets on making this move, like I said, other than the grandparents thing that we are going to try to finagle something, meet somewhere halfway, hopefully. So Nina could see them maybe twice a year. But outside of that, it was a reaffirming trip for me. And it made me appreciate South Africa a whole lot. I mean, I already did, but again, it was like, oh God, this feels good. Just the stress that comes off you once you land at that airport was very nice. Anything else?
No, that was it.
No, that was it. Nothing to add.
Nothing to add.
I feel like there was something else. Nope, so that's it, you guys. Nothing else to add. I know this was a bit rambling, but we're, going to try to get back into a groove and, share just some of what we get up to this weekend and kind of get back on schedule. So we really, really did miss you guys.
Jet lag is a thing.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and we're old, so there's no bounce back for us. It's been a couple days and we're still just getting sorted because Nina just went back to school. So, but we're so happy to be back. We miss South Africa so, I'll speak for myself. I miss South Africa so much. And Nina missed South Africa. She missed her friends. She definitely enjoys seeing her grandparents and her friends back east. But yeah, no, this was great. And I'll see America next year sometime. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, you guys. Well, thanks for watching. Of course, we're always appreciative of any comments, likes, or even subscribes that you guys do. And we'll see you next Tuesday for a video vlog. Bye.